Distraction is something that plagues us in our everyday, day-to-day life. And it is something that surrounds us, especially with our constant access to our mobile phones and the internet. Especially, I find that distractions are more prominent than ever. But today, I want to go over 10 quick points that will help you and have helped me avoid distractions and tackle my goals and the things that are actually most important to me. Let's get into it. My name's Jasper, and I'm wanting to make content that is instructional and helpful and just sharing things that I've found have really worked in my life. If you have any comments or feedback or things you'd like to see in future videos, drop a comment below. I'm responding to every comment. My first and most important point that I've found has helped me the most is get rid of your biggest distraction. What's your biggest distraction? Your phone. Turn your phone off. Put it away. Get it out of sight, out of mind, which is really difficult to do. And I hate having to do that. I definitely am the first to say I'm a tech addict and I'm working on it. But nowadays we are so surrounded with technology and just the internet, and there are so many distractions and things trying to capture our attention. Literally, the people who make Facebook would be the first to say they put research and millions of dollars each year into finding out how they can make their apps more attractive and to keep people on there longer. And for me personally, it isn't Facebook, and it's probably not for you either, but I find for me, my most prominent one I use is Instagram, but it might be for you, it might be Snapchat, it might be TikTok, it might be Threads.
That's important, isn't it? That's really good. A guy like you actually gets...
But whatever it is, make sure that you turn those notifications off at the very least. I find Do Not Disturb can sometimes help, but what I said first, I would say turn it off. Unless you really need your phone for that task, which definitely use Do Not Disturb, turn your phone off. I find I'm most productive when I have my phone off. If I want to get my Bible reading done, if I want to go for a morning walk in nature, if I want to go to the gym, obviously gym, I don't do it because I want to listen to music. But for activities that you don't need technology, I find I will achieve them much faster and I'll achieve them far quicker and be more focused during them if my phone is off. My second point that I also think is super crucial is stay accountable, which this can be really difficult because not all of us have people in our lives where they're constantly monitoring our screen time and constantly looking at us and going, hey, you should get off your phone. My parents have been like that. Not now, obviously that I'm older, but when I was younger, my parents were pretty conscious of it, and that might be for you. But if you're an adult living alone, you haven't got that luxury. And most of us don't have a person to keep us accountable and tell us when we need to stay on task or when we've been spending far too much time scrolling reels or whatever you do when you're meant to be focusing on tasks. But staying accountable makes a massive difference. Whether that is setting timers for yourself. I find a lot of accountability comes down to you keeping yourself accountable, because in the end, we don't always have someone else there for us. If you do, that's awesome. If you do have parents or you do have a partner and someone who can keep you in line, keep you in check, and who you'll respect and listen to, then that's awesome. Go for it, do that. But otherwise, I would say keep yourself accountable by setting up the screen time widget on your phone, which is super simple, doesn't take long to do, so you can monitor how much time you've been spending on your phone. I'll be the first to say that I still spend way too much time on my phone and talking to people or scrolling reels or whatever it is, doing pointless tasks when I should be focusing on my goals and what I actually want to improve on, whether that's my health and fitness, whether that's my time with God, whether that is YouTube, whatever it is, but I find social media can be a real drain to that. So set timers for yourself as well. When you have a task that you're wanting to do, set timers on how long you think that task should take. If you don't achieve that goal within the time for the time you set, that's fine, but at least it keeps you accountable and you know how much time is drifted. I find for myself that I often can just end up getting distracted and would go down the rabbit hole, and an hour later, maybe I'm not that bad, but an hour later, let's say, and I'll go, oh my gosh, look at the time. What was the original task I was trying to do? And I can't even remember. So I find set yourself timers and set up a screen time widget. Keep yourself accountable. Number 3 is a cringe and super common one, but it's very true. Set clear goals. When I say set clear goals, I'm not going to dwell on this point too long. Figure out what you want to do. Again, I think it's easier if it's not always on technology. Get down a pencil and a piece of paper, if you still know what they are, and write down what you're wanting to achieve. Or if it is on technology, I have a reminders list on my phone, which is very unorganized, but it has all the stuff I want to do or need to do. Also write the first steps you're going to take in achieving that goal. I find that makes a big difference, because if you can't achieve the full goal, and often things can seem really daunting for you, it might be going to gym. And, oh my gosh, I've got to get all my stuff ready. I've got to drive to gym. I've got to do whatever. It is. Just focus on taking that first step. What's the first step? Probably putting away your phone. Probably go get your headphones. Go get your gym gear. Go get your gym bag. Get your tag to get into the gym, whatever it is. But take those little steps and set clear goals so you're not just aimlessly wandering about. And it gives you like bite-sized pieces where you can kind of just focus on that instead of being overwhelmed by massive goals. Number 4 would be create a distraction-free environment. So if you're wanting to not get distracted, having a bunch of stuff around that's going to distract you, again, technology is really not going to help. Whether that's your PC, obviously you can't just always go chuck it outside or something like that. But again, you can shut that down. Close the extra tabs on your computer if you do have to work on the laptop. Whatever it is, reduce the amount of distractions around you. For you, it might be eating food. That's a common one of mine where I find I often will be eating way too much. And I'm like, I just had a good meal. I don't need to be browsing or grazing or whatever they call it, especially when it's food that I don't need. It'll be chocolate or crap or whatever it is. Minimize clutter and work in an environment that's going to give you the best headspace that you can possibly have. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Hoarders. It's an American TV show of people who have hoarding obsessions and they live in houses. They can't even move into certain rooms. They've got that much stuff. But what I was going to relate that to is often people who have cluttered houses have cluttered minds. And that's not always the case, but it often is. If you've got a bunch of stuff or just junk everywhere, you got clothes all over your room. My room, I'll say right now, it's not really the cleanest it could possibly be, but it's manageable. Anyway, that's not the point. Make sure that you've got a good environment so you can be achieving your goals and not getting distracted by things that you could easily just clean up. Things like putting your washing in the laundry. Go put your washing away. Put your stuff away. Put your clothes back in your wardrobe or your closet or whatever it is. Create a distraction-free environment. Number 5, again, one of my favorites, would be do the hardest tasks first. This can be hard to do because I find I still struggle with doing this, is do the toughest thing, the thing that you don't want to do first. For example, right now I've been having issues with my AirPods. It seems like a first world issue, but I've been having issues with my AirPods and I need to get them sent in to Apple. And the warranty runs out in like a month or whatever, but I'm finding I'm just kind of procrastinating. Oh, I don't want to have to. And it's stupid reasoning because it's like, come on, let's be honest. You've got to go through a couple of things. I've got to call up Apple support. I'll sit on the phone for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then they'll say, yeah, bring it in, send it in, whatever it is. And then it'll be done. But it's a task I've been putting off and procrastinating. And for me personally, do the hardest tasks first. I've heard the saying of if you had a buffet of food, but there was a frog, and you had to eat both of them, the buffet and the frog, which order are you going to eat them in? Are you going to eat the buffet and the nice yummy little dessert or whatever your favorite food is, and then save the frog for the very end? You're going to force that down? Or would you just get the tough stuff out of the way, get it done? I find that with exercise in my life, I find get it done so I don't have to think about it anymore, and then do the tasks or other things that aren't as difficult, the things that you're going to more naturally want to do. Well, that might be putting aside some time to rest and relax, or it might be something you enjoy. Maybe you really enjoy gym, and maybe it's cleaning up your room that you really hate. Whatever it is, do the hardest task first, get it done, and then you can relax more, and you can actually do the tasks that you want to do at the end. That whole thing of the reward at the end is way more powerful than eating that reward early and then having to deal with the crap you don't want to do later. Number 6 would be time block your day. Have a calendar. Again, I personally am not the best at this, but I'm trying to work on it, is block out your day. Okay, I've got work from, for my case, 7 to 11. And then I'm going to go gym. And then I'm going to do a meal when I get home. I'm going to cook up some pies, what I'm going to do. Have your day planned out to prevent wasted time. If you go throughout your day without a clear plan in mind of what you want to do and achieve, it's going to be a whole lot easier to get lost. And it's going to be a whole lot easier to do a whole lot of nothing and end up scrolling on your social media, end up watching that show on Netflix that you didn't even want to watch, eating that extra bit of food that you didn't want to eat. Whatever it is, if you just focus on having a framework for your day, it's going to take the thinking out of it. We only have a certain amount of willpower each and every day. So don't waste it on small decisions that can be automated. Time block your day. Number 7 would be focus on patches of deep work. I've recently been listening to the audiobook Deep Work and I have found it incredible. I'm only halfway through it, but it has been just a real mind opener. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend. And it's talking about how a lot of notable people that we really respect and look up to now who achieved great things I definitely couldn't pull off. I'll talk for myself, the average person can't pull off. Whether it be people like Charles Darwin coming up with his thing. I don't necessarily agree with that, but he was coming up with some pretty big stuff that hadn't been spoken about before. Or whether it was J.K. Rowling thinking up that and writing about the whole world of Harry Potter, the creativity and pulling from the regions of our mind that most of us don't use today with the amount of consumption and stuff we absorb on a day-to-day basis. Deep work is required for them. And if you can focus on having deep work throughout your day, that is going to mean that distractions and other things aren't as big a deal because you can have that patch of deep work, lock in for just an hour, half an hour, whatever it is, and then you can go do your distractions later, or you can do less stuff. If you can focus on having patches of deep work where you put away distractions and just focus on getting that stuff done, is going to mean the rest of your day flows a whole lot better. Dedicate uninterrupted time for tasks and things you want to get done. Focus on deep work. Number 8 would be make your environment quiet. This can be difficult to do because I know we can't always control this, and you've maybe even heard budgies or beeping or stuff in the back. I live in a 3-bedroom house and I have 5 other family members, so it's always going to be loud. And I have another phone here. My current phone, the camera on here there's got my notes on it. The current camera is like got sand or something underneath it, so it's like really poor. So I'm recording on this one, but I haven't got a microphone for that phone. Anyway, focus on making your environment quiet. Again, this comes down to removing the distractions. If you just have a quiet environment, it's gonna help you focus a whole lot more. Back when I was younger, I used to think that, oh yeah, I can just multitask everything. I'd be like listening to like rap and I'd be listening to some music and then I'd be like switching tabs and yeah, I'm getting stuff done, especially when I was doing school. And it would be, yeah, I'm just getting stuff done. And I actually was achieving a whole lot of nothing. There's a big difference between getting stuff done and being busy. A lot of people are busy, not many people can get stuff done. So create a quiet environment. Whether that's shutting the room of your door or shutting the room of your office or wherever you work, or that might be putting AirPods in, not listening to music necessarily, but just putting the noise cancelling mode on, or it might be just even headphones. Oh, I've got headphones over there, my gym ones, and just helping block out some of the noise. Even these, like I wear these when I sleep, loop earplugs, but you could go get these on like Temu for a couple of bucks, like something similar. And just putting these in is going to lower the noise and sound in your background if there is a lot of stuff. Or you might live in the city where there's constant honking and a bunch of noise. This will make a big difference. Focus on making your environment quiet. Number 9 is one we all love to do. Take regular breaks, but allot them and decide on them in advance. Don't just take a break when you feel like it. Oh, I've got to check my phone, because you're going to be checking your phone every 2 seconds and you're going to get distracted, and that defeats the whole purpose of what we're talking about. But put aside a time, let's say whatever time it is now. So for me right now, it's 4:30 in the afternoon. Let's say I'm going to focus on making this YouTube video for the next half an hour, but then at 5 p.m. I get a break. Or maybe your attention span can't even do something for half an hour. Maybe you need to shorten it even more. Maybe even just for 5 minutes. I've been reading about it in Deep Work, and just focus on putting aside a little bit of time where you are just gonna focus on the work you're doing, and then you've got the rest set aside. You've got the rest time set aside where you can chill out, go to your distraction, go eat the food you don't need, go whatever, go to the bathroom, whatever it is. But put aside those little rest times, because if you're just sitting down in front of your desk, let's say it's trying to get an assignment done, or it might be something for work or whatever it is. If you're just sitting in front of a desk, eventually your concentration is going to wane, and you would actually have more productive workflow if you put aside regular breaks compared to if you just try and do one big slog. Make time for regular rest breaks. And my last one, number 10, would be utilize the 2-minute rule. I can't even remember where I got the rule from, but it is, if something takes less than 2 minutes for you to do, just do it now. Do it before you forget. I know I talked in an earlier point about doing the hardest thing first, and I fully agree with that, but sometimes just getting the smallest thing out of the way and just getting that done is really going to help you avoid distraction and putting things off. If you really struggle with doing the hardest task and doing the stuff you don't want to do, just knock off the little ones. Often I find on my, again, reminder list, but I should be using something a bit more clear. But I find on my reminder list, when I've got a little list of things to do, I find a fair few of them are things that I could devote 10 minutes to and I can get 5 of them done. And if it's something like that, where it's going to take you a short amount of time, just do it now. Save yourself the headspace and the memory and the headache and just knock it out of the way now. Utilize the 2-minute rule. I wanted to thank you for watching this video, and what did you think of today's video? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Share this video if you found it helpful and drop your opinion. What can I improve on? How can I be better? And what would you like to see in the future? Thanks for watching.